you know, and they carried on. And eventually the stations banned it because it was annoying to people. So I get what they're doing there. I mean, outside schools is, you know, it's a bit of a crowded area, especially at school time when they're picking up and everything. But I reckon what they should do, because I've been vaping for 14 years, I'm addicted to the nicotine, but I'm also addicted to the flavours.
Yes,
now,
okay.
If they stopped making the flavour, so all I had was this machine that gave me the feeling that I was smoking because I'm getting the nicotine, but there's no flavour, eventually I would go, oh, that's horrible. You know, eventually I would stop vaping. And I certainly wouldn't go back to smoking because that smells like you're smoking an ashtray. It's all burnt or you know, I've been so used to these lovely flavours of cakes and caramel and all that kind of stuff that I would probably eventually give up vaping. So I really do like the flavours, but I don't think it's good for me, really. It's not. I mean, it stopped me smoking, but is it really good for me long term? 14 years is a long time to be vaping.
Yeah.
You know?
And what was it like when you made that transition from cigarettes to vaping? Did it happen instantaneously? Was it fine? Did you crave cigarettes or did you just forget all about them?
I was worried that if I use this tomorrow morning, I like a cup of coffee and I like a nice roll up.
Story, and it won't be for some time.
Thank you so much, Nomia.
Thank you, Tristan.
That was Nomia Iqbal, the BBC's World Affairs correspondent. Have a good weekend. See you on Monday. Cheerio.
This is the BBC World Service, and in the inquiry this week...
Cities running out of water, farmers facing crop failures and lakes drying up. Says we're in an era of water bankruptcy. I'm Rajan Datta. We're asking, taps running dry.
The Inquiry. To listen, search BBC The Inquiry on wherever you get your BBC podcasts. Stumped is in 30 minutes. Here's Alison Mitchell.
Pakistan against India at the T20 World Cup will go ahead on Sunday after the Pakistan's biggest and most lucrative match in cricket.
The newsroom is next. This is the BBC World Service, the world's radio station.
Side effects of certain prescription drugs.
I lost 100 grand. I was contemplating killing myself.
And on Valentine's Day,
online dating promotes this idea that people are replaceable.
Modern dating has become very gamified. It can feel a little bit like online shopping.
Growing numbers of young people say they're turning to period dramas to escape the horrors of the modern dating scene. First, the news.
BBC News with Chris Barrow. The Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney and opposition leaders are attending a vigil in the town of Tumbler Ridge in memory of 8 victims who were killed by a teenager with a history of mental health issues. Mr. Carney addressed the families of the victims.
I know that nothing I can say will bring your children home. I know that no words from me or anyone can fill the silence in your homes tonight, and I won't pretend otherwise. But standing here together, we wanted you to hear the Canadians are with you.
European leaders have mounted a robust defence of their continent at the Munich Security Conference. Hours after the German Chancellor had warned of the end of the rules-based global order, the French President Emmanuel Macron told his audience to reject the image of an ageing continent where freedom of speech was in retreat. Kasia Madeira in Munich has the summary of Friday's events.
The Europeans have come out fighting on the opening day of the Munich Security Conference. They didn't want to get burnt like they did last year with J.D. Vance, the Vice President of the US, criticising Europe. It left people with open mouths in the conference room. This time round, the Chancellor of Germany, Friedrich Merz, was strong. He said that Europeans will need to make sacrifices, that Europeans need to guarantee the security of Ukraine.
President Trump says he'll bypass Congress and force stringent new voter ID laws ahead of November midterm elections. A bill requiring would-be voters to present proof of citizenship has been approved by the House, but is unlikely to pass the Senate. Mr. Trump did not explain how he would go about imposing such rules, which critics say would serve to prevent millions of legitimate voters from taking part in the election. The head of the World Health Organization, Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, has described a planned US-funded hepatitis B vaccine trial on newborn babies in Guinea-Bissau as unethical. The WHO said a study giving a proven life-saving intervention to some but not others exposes newborns to potentially irreversible harm, arguing that placebo or no treatment vaccine trials are only acceptable when no proven intervention exists. Dr. Ghebreyesus first spoke about the issue on Wednesday.
Guinea-Bissau is one of the countries with high prevalence of hepatitis B, and withholding a birth dose could actually expose infants to high chance of infection, and that means including a significant proportion of deaths.
The US Department of Health said the trial seeks to answer questions about the broader health effects of the vaccine. BBC News. The US military says it's targeted another boat it believes was carrying drugs in the Caribbean. It said 3 people had been killed. It's the second such strike this week. The other incident took place in the Pacific. More than 130 people have been killed in such US strikes. There's been a fire at an oil refinery in the Cuban capital, Havana. A massive column of smoke could be seen rising from the Nico Lopez refinery before it was brought under control. Cuba has been experiencing an acute energy shortage since shipments from Venezuela were cut off by the United States. Havana has found no alternative supplies after President Trump threatened tariffs on any country attempting to sell oil to Cuba. Scientists in Scotland have concluded that a good kiss has more to do with the thoughts and emotions it stimulates than the physical act itself. Researchers at Abertay University in Dundee wanted to challenge the common belief that the physical act of kissing arouses sexual chemistry. They carried out an online survey questioning participants in Britain and Italy on their attitudes, experiences and fantasies about kissing and intimacy. The study co-author said their findings could assist in couples therapy. There's been a shock winner of one of the blue ribbon events at the Winter Olympics, the men's figure skating. The hot favourite Ilya Malinin of the United States fell many times during his routine, leaving the door ajar for the unheralded Kazakh skater Mikhail Shadorov. And in the men's skeleton, Britain's Matt Weston set multiple track records on his way to a gold medal. He spoke about what his victory meant.
It seems like a bit of a blur, to be honest. That's all I've had my heart set on. It's everything I've been working towards. It's me, the team, everyone. They've all got a slice of this medal. And I mean, thank God it's so heavy. It's enough to go round. It's kind of, it's amazing. I can't really describe the feeling. Like, how do you describe the fact that I've just become Olympic champion?
And that's the latest world news from the BBC.
and in other political fields like rule-based world order and other things. And Donald Trump saw with the reaction of the Senate on his Venezuela activities, not be sure that there's a majority in Senate kept by the Republicans for him to do such. And I think this was also one of the reasons why he stepped down from the Greenland point and why he now in his wording on defense in Europe and defense with Europe. As long as we are standing close together in Europe, not only European Union, but important nations like Norway, like UK, we have the chance to impress US and to make sure that Americans see an advantage in close. Instead of that, was the US president told them, and I'm sure that we can Atlantic cooperation on that way.
German MP Jürgen Hart. Last week, the Israeli government approved plans to adopt sweeping new powers in the occupied West Bank. The changes will allow Israel to increase its control in the territory and make it easier for Jewish settlers to take over Palestinian land. The UN called on Israel to reverse the decision, saying it jeopardises the prospect for a two-state solution. Our Middle East Williamson went to the city of Hebron, which contains several Jewish settlements, which are illegal under law, and where the control of different areas are divided between Palestinian authorities and the Israeli military.
In Hebron, power, like the city, is divided. Here in the vegetable market, as in most of the city, Palestinian authorities are in charge. But meters away, Israeli military checkpoint, Israel's army guards around 700 Jewish settlers living 30,000 Palestinians.
We've just come through an Israeli military checkpoint right in the middle of Hebron to speak to Palestinian activist Issa Amro. He lives here in the part of the city where Jewish settlers live side by side with Palestinian residents. The atmosphere is tense. Any change in the delicate balance of powers here could lead to real friction.
Israel has said it will start providing municipal services here and allow Israeli citizens to buy Palestinian property right across the occupied West Bank. Outside Issa's house, an ultra-Orthodox Jewish couple is picnicking. A settler neighbour appears from an alley.
Okay. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
On the wall inside, there's a plaque for Palestine.
What a view you've got.
I get the best view in Hebron.
You really do?
Yes. But unfortunately, I had to cover it with fence, so it hurts me a lot.
Through the window, a vast Israeli flag flutters over the neighbourhood.
ブルーアーカイブ。 おかえりなさい。 恥ずかしいけど、ありがとな。なあ、だから一緒に行くぞ。お菓子ないの？ジュースを。一服するのに良さそうな場所じゃな。この置き場は。先生、次の休日一緒にゲームしない？どう考えても先生の周りには女の子が多すぎます。先生、どこ？お菓子ないの？ジュースは？仙外橋の外は本当に多種多様じゃな。どこかに食べ物はないですかね。先生、お待ちしておりました。早く一緒にパトロールに行きましょう。ようこそ、先生。お忙しいとは思いますが、それでもできるだけお会いしたいです。よし、今日もいい天気ですね。どのお仕事から始めますか、先生？ 先生、お待ちしておりました。早く一緒にパトロールに行きましょう。ようこそ、先生。お忙しい。特殊交易部の営業室長、若狭冬です。 ありましたか？問題でもありましたか？あれ？問題でもありましたか？これより作戦区域へ入ります。移動します。これはいかが？移動します。前進いたします。私の番ですね。腰を抜かさせてあげましょう。そちらですね。ここはもう安全です。ありがとうございます。移動します。これはいかが？私の番ですね。本の力です。アサージアサージ。あ、準備完了です。アリス、お掃除を続けます。そちらの優雅に参りましょうか。 僕の顔粉でもついてる？もうそんなにつっつくならお返しだ。楽しいことがいっぱいだよ。ご褒美は忘れちゃダメだよ。なんだか話がごちゃごちゃしちゃってるね。まあやるだけやってみるよ。先生、僕の顔粉でもついてる？もうそんなにつっつくならお返しだ。ようこそ先生。お忙しいとは思いますが、それでもできるだけお会いしたいです。お待ちしておりました。早く一緒にパトロールに行きましょう。雨降るのかな。私が先生のお仕事を手伝います。待ってたよ。 ありましたか？急に何よ！急に何よ！急に何よ！いや、問題でもありましたか？今です。はるか、行きます。ドキドキする時間がやってきたよ。そんな。警告します。投降しなければ。ポップコーン
You see short, rich men with beautiful women; they don't care. And so it was. I guess it was a bit of that moment, and I think I became a bit more confident. And
so this is what I want to know. There's the perception of other people, then there's the perception of yourself. Did it change how you saw your own place in the world?
Yeah, because the funny people, as I retell this story, it was probably only my wheelchair that made me undateable. I suspect I was an irritant, maybe too keen. I don't know. Who knows what it was? The office definitely gave me a calmness, really, as well, and a contentedness. I sort of describe the awards like a swimming badge you get at school. And the thing I like about them is that they can't be taken away from you. Mm-hmm. And so I just found myself, I can even feel my body relaxing as I'm telling you this part of the story, which is just like, it was like I just realised that I'd crossed some sort of line of achievement, and it didn't make me not want to do it again. But I definitely think I got a calmness from it that I wasn't quite expecting. And I was like, wow, I did that.
You did it, and it's there forever.
I didn't see that coming, and that is there forever. Before your show is released, and if you're lucky, you hear any applause or have any plaudits or anybody is kind enough to watch. I'm in a room doing my job with writers, editors, actors, and selling those shows to the BBC, to Netflix, to whoever. That is my career. I'm really aware that I'm really lucky that I've been invited in here to be interviewed because people are interested in your life. But I think if you the background noise, the white noise of it, or get lost down the awards or any fame or wealth that comes your way, you're in big trouble. You've got to go back to, this is my job. My dad's a doctor. My brother works in marketing and I work in television. And if you don't stay focused on the DNA and the nuts and bolts of what you do, I think you're in trouble.
If there's someone listening to this and they've got a particular idea and they think they want to, even outside of TV, they just think they want to make something, and maybe they're not in a creative job. Maybe, they work in finance or something like that. What advice would you have for them?
Well, I always say, first of all, you need to make sure that you're good at what you do, which is perhaps an unpopular and a bit of a sort of an Alan Sugar or Donald Trump answer on The Apprentice.
No, but you're saying you need to be good at the work.
I think you need to be good at the work, and I've just come back to that. And I love people who are experts or skilled in whatever it is you do. I love people who take the time and aren't flashy to really have an expertise. So given that's the first thing, be an expert in what you do. And then second of all, if you are that, then really stick to your guns. Because in whatever we do in this life, and more, people are trying to tell you what to do. Everyone has an opinion. Everyone's opinion can get to you now. But I think the best things in life have come from somebody who's very singular. Often a really singular vision has dominated the world. I mean, we talk about Steve Jobs, you talk about Barbara, you talk about the great writers. And that's not to say that nothing good comes from committee. That is not true. But I just think you mustn't be blown off course.
TV producer Ash Atala, offering us all some creative words of wisdom. Now, don't get me wrong. I love my colleagues in the Outlook office. But wouldn't things be even more fun if we brought some four-legged pals to work too? Well, this is exactly what's happening at an advertising firm in the Indian city of Chennai. Back in 2016, our reporter Geeta Pandey dropped in to have a meeting with their top dog, Goofy, and one of his doting colleagues, Bala Manyan.
Goofy! Goofy, come! Come! Oh, come on, baby! Come on, baby! What is it? He came to our office about 10 years back when we were sharing an apartment with another production house. One of the people working in the production house found Goofy sitting in front of a tea shop. So he had either been abandoned or he'd run away. We weren't sure, but he was just so adorable that the colleague just brought him over to our office. We were trying to find a forever home for Goofy. And then we realized that he is just too adorable to give away to somebody. And he seemed very comfortable, so it's more like, he adopted us rather than we adopted him.
So he's become a member of the staff, and I understand that he even has his own visiting card?
Absolutely. He is the core member of the office. He is our HR manager. He is also our receptionist, the person who opens the door and welcomes everyone into the office.
So does he have any creative role at all in your company?
Well, sometimes, when we're not able to decide between two ad routes that we are going with, we sometimes show it to him so that he takes a final call. And the one that he doesn't chew up or tear up is the one that finally gets presented to the client.
Okay, that's a very novel way of eeny, meeny, miny, moe. While we are talking, I can, he's standing here looking pretty docile and, letting you pet him and licking your hand.
Why are you licking me? Do you want to go for a walkie? Huh? Come on, good job. He's been with us for 10 years and he's one of the most well-behaved dogs that you can find. I mean, he never barks, he's never aggressive with anybody. In fact, there are a few people who've joined our office who weren't particularly dog lovers. But after having interacted with Goofy, they've all converted to being crazy dog lovers.
So does Goofy have a space of his own? I mean, where does he sit? Where does he work from?
Well, he has a place where he sleeps at night. So he has a cushion for himself. But during the day, there is no fixed seating for anybody in the office. And we all work around Goofy's schedule. So we all sit wherever Goofy is not sitting. If he sits and you ask him to move, he'll look at you, with such offended eyes that you're better off just moving your laptop and going somewhere else and working. He has everybody twisted around his little finger.
Goofy, will you say something?
Goofy, do you love us? Goofy, can you open your mouth instead of just wagging your tail?
I'm sure he meant to say yes. Bala Manyan and her favorite furry colleague, Goofy. Now, this sound used to be the quintessential backing track to office life. Typewriters retired from service during the digital revolution, and these days you're more likely to spot one gathering dust in a forgotten corner of a secondhand shop. But a group of musicians in the US came up with an unconventional project to put them center stage. In 2017, Outlook spoke to Brendan Quigley and Derek Albertelli, members of the Boston Type.
Well, our live performance is somewhere between 4 and 8 people, just lined up along tables, dressed in white shirts and ties.
Yeah, it sort of looks like the typing pool from hell. Someone counts us off, and you're just going to see a barrage of hands moving up and down, and typewriters being picked up and thrown down, and bells rung. For me, seeing it for that first time and just sort of being like, whoa, this is crazy. They've got 7 people on stage, and they're just making an unholy racket. It's like a crazy drum circle on these old discarded typewriters. It was a pretty special thing to see, I'd say.
At the end of a line, the signal to return the carriage will be the sound of a bell.
I'm Brendan Quigley, and I play the Underwood 5 and this desk bell here.
Derek Albertelli. I play the Smith Corona with the Boston Typewriter Orchestra. The joke that started the orchestra is one of the founding members was at a bar, and he got the gift of a child's typewriter, and he was very excited to get this child's typewriter and started typing away, which annoyed the staff there, as it really would. And he said to the waitress, "It's okay, ma'am, I'm the conductor of the Boston Typewriter Orchestra." And he felt that there was something to that and ran with it. When he got the idea, he just said to himself, hey, I should run with this. I'm going to call up a bunch of people to see whether or not they want to pound on typewriters. And we ended up having regular rehearsals, and it just went from there.
That's really how everyone joins the band at some point. It's like, oh, you know what? We need another member. I know just the guy. I know just the girl. You should come in and just start banging on these old typewriters, and they're like, when do I start? This became basically a project that's been going on for like 13 years now. How many unique sounds could we make out of a typewriter?
I have a case that slides open like this and closes just as hard. And if it's propped open, I can get one of the keys to actually hit it.
You can get a bass sound out of the shift key like this. And then this is the hammer hitting the roller bar.
A great way to punctuate a general phrase or rhythm is just the return, just like that.
Of course, you can just pick up the typewriter and slam it down on the table here. There's people who are convinced that each key makes a different sound. I mean, hey, Derek, can you give me an E? Okay.
Another nifty little feature of the Smith Corona is this power space bar, which makes this great grinding noise, which is fantastic, but it's also the first thing to break on it.
On this record, the signal to type will be the words, ready, type.
The way we write a song is usually someone has an idea for a rhythm or a genre to explore, whether it might be extreme death metal or dubstep, and we go, all right, well, how could we incorporate the cliches of those genres using only a machine that goes clack and thump and ding? Through improvisation, we go, okay, wait, that's a part, and then, okay, here's another part. Wait, why don't we incorporate that? And then the song is built from there. We're building something and it's sort of falling apart at the same time, but we're building something and it's great, and there's a lot of chaos in the BTO.
The members of the Boston Typewriter Orchestra also have a number of different day jobs.
For instance, I write crossword puzzles. We have a computer scientist.
One works as a museum curator.
We have a cancer researcher.
There are 2 librarians in the group.
Jeff works with lizards. I'm not sure how,
That's right.
but he does something with lizards.
He works in a lizard lab.
Yeah. The audience's reaction is typically of like shock. We play for a pretty wide audience. And so the audience can be like younger children who've never seen a typewriter before to older people who come up and say, oh, I wrote my college thesis on that machine that you are using right now. And I said, well, hopefully not this machine, because we've just beaten the holy snot out of it. So
we do put them through a lot of rigorous work that was not intended for the typewriter. So we don't want to spend too much on a machine that we're just going to break.
The typewriters, typically, like the cheaper, smaller models, I would cruise through those in about maybe 9 months, I'd say. I don't know. I also kind of go nuts and throw them on stage if I get really frustrated with the show.
My very first typewriter I had for a really, really long time, and I was doing my own repairs on it for as long as I possibly could because I was kind of smitten with it.
We used to have photographs on our website of destroyed typewriters, ones that were just physically demolished from wear and tear and playing. And people would write and go, what are you doing to these things? Have you no shame? And the answer is, no, we don't have any shame. This is not a museum.
どこかから危険な匂いがするね。 でもありましたか？
我々には私は子供じゃない。私は子供じゃない。
いいわ。依頼なら。
私は子供じゃない。
どうかしましたか？いいわ。いいわ。 より強くなった。 先生、お待ちしておりました。早く一緒にパトロールに行きましょう。こちらを先生に。あっさりと終えられましたね。すごい。あっさりと終えられましたね。さすがです。あっさりと終えられましたね。さすがです。様々な授業やイベントが準備されているので、ご希望のスケジュールを選んでください。
鳥を仕留めるときは慎重でなければならない。早すぎても遅すぎてもならないのだ。なんで鳥かって？
先生、とりあえずドーナツ食べる？今日の私、どうだったかな？様々な授業やイベントが準備されている。ぜひこちら。ク れで急ぎの案件はすごい、もう解決されたんです。こんにちは、先生。ここでは過去の思い出を振り返ることができます。こんにちは、先生。ここでは過去の思い出を振り
The 9 to 5 song and the spirit with which it's sung. And to me, what it captures is this basic notion that if we talk to people where they're at, and we do that in a way that says, you're in the same boat with a lot of your friends, let's join together and use that power together to make change. That's the path to solving these problems.
in the same boat with a lot of your friends, waiting for the day your ship.
Karen Nussbaum was speaking to Outlook's Saskia Collette, reminding us all to appreciate our fellow workers. Well, it's time